Hello, welcome to the stream. It is the one and only stream this week. As I mentioned last week, had a lot to do this week, so yeah, we're just streaming once. Jump into it, we won't fuck around. Get what we can done, hopefully all 58. I think we're going back to the Plague Lands. It's been a week, I'm trying to remember. But I mean, we're in South Shore, so it's probably... yeah, going back up here. Hand in some quests. Pick up some quests, do some quests. All that good stuff. I am outside. Yeah, it's been a busy week. I haven't even played much Warhammer this week. Last night was pretty much the first time I really jumped on it this week. Like, I've been on a few times throughout the week, but not really to play.
Safe travels.
But the lads were playing last night, so I was like, might as well. We've got nothing else to do this week. We've finished everything. Finally. Get to play video game. Also finished Cyberpunk, however, during one night. I mean, I was pretty close already, like just a few hours away from finishing. So I put a few hours into that and I finished it. The ending did leave me a little bit sad. did make me tear up a little bit. Especially when Johnny was like, goodbye, V. But overall, pretty okay ending. I still think... Red Dragon. I still think the DLC was much better than the base game. But the base game did leave you thinking about a lot of things. Especially, like, parallels to our current world. Which I guess is good, because it's not like Cyberpunk's set in a different universe. I don't think I'm gonna pick up...
Need help?
that quest over there.
Bless you.
I think it would be easier to just go to Eastern Plague Lands.
See you around.
I'm pretty sure I can do this quest. Because it's just to go and collect some things beside Nathanos. But
See you
I
later.
don't think I'm going to. I think we'll just leave it. You know, there's no point taking the risk.
Can I help you?
All in on the watchtower. Right.
Need help? Or the Alliance?
I think I go grab unfinished business. And that's probably like the last quest we're doing in Western Plague Lands before we go over here. Do Tyrion's quest. And then by the time we finish Tyrion's quest, we're probably sitting on like 120, 130k experience, surely. Then we'll figure out what we're doing after that. And by finishing, I mean just doing the intro Tyrion quest. Not actually finishing. And we can do Pamela's doll, all that good stuff. But we're not really gonna do much else here just yet. Generally, I haven't really cared about keeping the Druid alive. Like, the only reason we're still alive is because I haven't died, obviously, but... We've been playing good enough to not die. But I generally haven't really worried too much. You know, we've been doing some challenging stuff on the Druid. Like escort quests and such. But because it is the character getting to 59, and the next character is the rogue, which is going to 60, I don't want to die now. So we might take the final level pretty casually. Just go grind something. It's going to be boring. But, yeah, no. It does mean we can finish this thing up relatively well, rather than die and dick around. Because say Fran dies on the way to 59, then Lena's going to 59, right? And then Ali has got to do 9 levels. Which, doable on the priest, and it would probably be pretty quick. Our priest is our fastest leveling character right now, somehow. He's got like a full day played on the rogue and just 2 levels down. To be fair, our rogue, our hunter, our mage, like the fast leveling characters generally, and the hunter, I guess, have done all the farming for the group. So it's not like it's a huge surprise. Still unexpected. People talk about priests like it's the worst class in the game in Classic. Seems pretty good. Certainly better than a warrior. Warrior is talked about as being one of the best.
Hello. Farewell. Have a good one.
But this is just leveling, right? Warrior, after you hit 60, becomes an absolute god. Top DPS everywhere. That stuff. Okay. We are going to go and see if we can get the Scarlet quest done. We should be able to. A lot of wolves out today when I don't need them. Interesting. Not very interesting, just more annoying. They're never up when you need them, but then as soon as you don't, there's like 100. Alright, Scarlet Mage. Let's go. Nice, good stun. Good start to the day. Good start to the week. It makes me happy, you know? Get a stun on a mage, start your day. Good going. Got a lot of knights. I need 2 mages, so we may need to kill some extra knights to get there. Good night. Oh, there was a good night and good luck in Cyberpunk at the end, which is pretty cool because they, if you've played through Dying Light, one of the coolest parts in that game is when you're at the end and people are like, good night and good luck. Because that game at night is scary as fuck. I want to one day do a full night playthrough in Dying Light. It would be great to stream. I don't know if I'll stream it though, because, you know, we're running out of time on that. But maybe at like the end of the year, in between school sessions, or I can start streaming at night. Now, I don't know much about coding or making mods in video games, but to be playing Dying Light night only I would have to figure that out because I don't think anyone's made a mod. Good damage. 1058 on the Starfire. Yes, please. Oh, another stun on him. Kind of want to get this mage to come back with me because I loot it in case I have Troll Blade. Never know. When a Crow Blade might drop. It didn't. But you never know. We would like one before I get to play the rogue. That would be absolutely insane. Playing the rogue with, you know, just the absolute best gear that we can have. We're already going to be pretty good because of the crafting. Like the level work and stuff that we've got. All the wicked leather pieces that we have. Not too many medics out today by the looks. Medley. This is double hunter, which is awkward. I do not see this hunter's dog, but there might be one in the tent. I'm gonna have to take out the invoker. One of the most annoying spells to be targeted by in Classic World of Warcraft. Arcane missiles. You like spell pushback? Yes. You're gonna have it all. Oh, that is a medic actually with that. I thought it was double hunter. Like, why is that one got dog and that one doesn't? That makes sense. Alright, this might pull both. Especially when we get there. Heal, because I don't actually know what the invokers have other than arcane missiles. Like they might have a, you know, they got an explosion. I was thinking maybe they'll have a blast wave or something. Like that would be pretty dangerous. But even arcane missiles is pretty dangerous. Free. Silver copper. The medic hunter shouldn't be too bad because we've got leap. Should be okay. I think we Starfire the medic, leap the dog, root the hunter and run away. Use all the CC. And then because we have no mana because we're a boomkin, we're gonna reset. Seems fair. Hey. Longest reset in the world. Fighting multiple mobs as boomkin. Difficult. Alright, we just need the 2 hunters now. We do have before us. I got a Starfire crit on that medic, and it hit for 500. Like a half resist. Was not fun. Alright. Do it again. That wasn't even a crit hit for 500. Thankfully these guys don't have any heals now. Bam. Kill the hund. Scarlet Hunden. Nice. Love to see it. Okay. Do I have to clear this invoker? Feel like we should. Better safe than sorry, right? Nice. Okay. Now we'll get the hunter. See the hound. Really? They weren't even that close. I don't want to fight 2 hunters, that'd be annoying. Plague Bloom. It's easy to get distracted when you're out running around, find a herb that you need. I should be able to solo pull that hunter. Unless they're just social linked, but I don't believe they are. Maybe we pull the dog. But I can't moonfire it. I need to CC it. Yeah. They were just a bit close. What I thought. Nice, big crits, let's go. This is definitely my favourite part of Boomkin so far. Just massive crit damage. Go hand that in. I'm not going to do the next part because I need to go up the tower and... Unless there's like someone farming the enchant up there, I don't think it will be a very good journey for Fran to do. It's one of those things that, once again, I'll do it on the rogue. Pretty much everything that is difficult at the end of the journey, I'll do it on the rogue. The rogue's video to 60 should be like the best content in the game. We do Death Clasp, we do High Chief Winterfall, We do all the hard quests, we do the escort in Foulwood out of the burrows, hopefully with the red key. Means we do another elite.
Hey there. Safe travels. See you around.
That should go hard like Ugro's video, honestly. Doing all the like hard content. Maybe we'll even do this. I did love doing that on Ugro because we were so buffed up. With Wind Fury, we could like one-shot level 59 mobs. It was actually so fun. That is one thing I do miss about the Enhancement Shaman. Was every now and then, it was the most fun class in the game. Just a majority of the time, it was one of the most boring classes in the game. There was no in between. It wasn't just okay. It was either really fucking fun or really fucking boring. By Rogue's good, because sometimes it's really fun, and other times it's pretty good. But I don't think it's either boring. We've had this discussion about MMOs all the time, I feel like. You can't have really fun and really good. But that's pretty much Rogue in Classic WoW. Really fun, really good. It's similar to White Lion in Warhammer Online, honestly. Really fun, really good, annoying. Has all the stuff. Like Death Knight when they first come out in WoW. There are classes that shouldn't exist in MMOs. Really fun and really good ones generally have a hard time existing. Because they will be complained about in some way and be nerfed. Alright, Eastern Plague Lands once more. Hopefully, things go well here. Pretty much just gonna focus on Tyrion's quest. And then head over to Light's Hope Chapel after doing Pamela's Doll. We do have this quest to hand in, but it's a little risky going up there. Oh nice, I got 1% extra damage. Oh. It's actually funny, like I never really used this map. We're not even in control of any. Don't know how I have one. But I never used this map. Which is funny, because it is quite useful to have. There are a lot of people that play this video game that don't know you can press Shift M and it brings up a map. I had a friend tell me about it like a few years ago, I think, and he's like, well, did you know about this? How long's this been in the game? And I'm like, it's literally been in the game since the game came out. I used to use it all the time in Battlegrounds and Vanilla WoW. It's pretty much the only time I've really cared about using that map is Battlegrounds. See what's happening. Tyrion, please don't do too much damage. He was trying. I think if he managed to do a little bit more damage, like 4% extra, I would have not got that kill. But yeah, shift him, quite useful if you want to see what's going on. Has been in the game since the game came out, but not a lot of people know about it, I guess. Or at least new players. But I feel like it was much more useful back in the early days. Like I said, back in the days of battlegrounding. There's probably people that still use it that do battleground. I don't. The last time I did a BG in World of Warcraft was probably... Warlords of Draenor? That's why I'm like... I'm not really a PvP indie, you know? That's why it's so weird that I enjoy Warhammer Online. But I think it might just be because it's a Warhammer game. And I want a Warhammer MMO. Like many months ago, we were talking about Warhammer MMOs, and I'm like, we need a new one, but there ain't one. So I started playing that one. Bastard. He literally had no health. I don't even know why I came out of Moonkin form. I thought, you know, when I press forwards it brings me out. No. It wasn't going to. So, one of my friends posted about Destiny 2 going just live service and no more updates now. I'm surprised that it lasted this long before they got no more updates, because they said they weren't updating it a few years ago. What could have been with that game, huh? Like, it started so well. Kind of. I think the first raid in that game was pretty sick. The rest of the base game was kind of like, doing better. But then the first DLC came out and it was kind of dog shit. So funny. I knew it would die from the Fawns, but man, it got the fear off as well. Yeah, Destiny 2 Curse of Osiris. Fucking awful. That's when all of my friends quit. And it wasn't even because of the game. It was because you had to own the DLC to play the game, basically. So all of my friends that I was already raiding with, there were 2 of them, I think, that didn't buy the DLC, and that's fine. I want to see how it is and stuff like that. Don't want to spend any more money on it. Whatever. And they just couldn't do content with us anymore. They couldn't do dungeons, they couldn't do strikes. They couldn't do the raid. Because you had to have the second DLC to keep the content that you were already doing. That was a really bad decision. I think if that decision didn't go through, my friends and I probably would have just kept doing like the 6-man first raid, just for fun every week. It was definitely better than the DLC raid though. Hey, that. I never actually killed that, like, finished that second raid that came out in Destiny 2. Because the one time we were sub 10% on the last boss, I can't remember his name, I think it was Argos or something. I disconnected. I think we were like 7%. And I disconnected. right at like a critical moment. And it was, yeah, we just didn't bother after that. We were like, well, we basically did it. Good enough. But it was a fun game to, like, blind raid in, definitely. Destiny and Final Fantasy have, like, the best blind raiding experience. Maybe it's because they're like smaller raids, you know, 6 and 8 people. Can't blind raid them. Wow, people already know all the mechanics before they even come out. The dungeon journal tells you. This is how you do this mechanic. Plus there's like guides in WoW before content even releases because of PTR. 90% of people expect people to be watching that, right? Nice. Big damage. Looking for one more tanker to do Sunken Temple or pre-60 BRD. That's nice. Do I look like a tanker? What exactly would I be tanking? Like my mana? Mana tank. I've never answered a single whisper about doing dungeons during the hardcore medley though. Because obviously in my rules, I'm not allowed. I did not want to make the gear too good. And it's already pretty good with crafting, right? Like Dreamweave, imagine having Dreamweave plus whatever we could have gotten from dungeons. Like we'd be running around with 200 odd spell power. Get on my mount, don't want to walk all the way down. Gotta kill a lot of things. 25 more plague bats, 17 more runts, and however many grubs it takes to get this carrion meat. Kind of funny, the vibe of Eastern Plague Lands in Classic is like so hostile, but then you play through Eastern Plague Lands after Cataclysm rework and it feels like the tone of the quest is hostile. You know, there's a guy being possessed and stuff and there's dudes just dying all the way, but it's like cartoony. There's no real threat in the actual zone. They made it so story-based, the fear of Eastern Plague Lands, rather than just the zone being scary just by existing, which is how it is in this. I don't know how it is now, like they may have changed it, but I doubt it. I don't think any of the vanilla quests have really been changed since Cataclysm. Okay. Range and melee attack power. Yes, we don't do that here. Kind of funny how quickly they updated the world, right? So Vanilla WoW came out, and then, what, 3 expansions later, they changed the world completely and haven't even bothered to do any more updates since then. Like, obviously, Powerful Arse and stuff like that have been updated, but like, why'd you have to cataclysm the world so quickly if you're just gonna leave it that way the 10 odd years after? Anyone who enjoyed vanilla World of Warcraft and basically grew up with it was not happy about Cataclysm. Because we spent so much time in the open world in vanilla, right? Like, we were always running around in those vanilla zones, and then they basically got rid of them. It was kind of sad. Why we play Classic. Well, part of the reason, I guess. See the old world. But as I have mentioned, after the hardcore medley, I am pretty much done until Classic Plus. Goes hardcore medley, don't bother playing Classic Plus. The thing with Classic Plus though is because I'm going to be, you know, looking to change my career, especially after the schooling that I'm going to be going through. Classic Plus release will probably happen at a very bad time. And I'll just have to be a big casual. I won't get to actually, you know, do all the raids unless they make it like 10 man only. Something like that. Which I have mentioned before, like, I'm not really a big fan of 40-man raiding anyway. As a classic enjoyer, it's sacrilege, I know, but 40-man raiding was always... There's 10 to 20 really good players, and then there's the rest of them who are just there. Maybe less so during Classic, but not completely less so. There's a reason Anniversary TBC had to release a post-patch. Because I feel like they didn't release post-patch in original TBC Classic. Weird saying that, because original TBC and original TBC Classic are two different versions of the game. And people struggled in like Tempest Keep and Serpent Shrine Cavern, right? But now it's an absolute joke. Ambulance going by. Trying to get that classic patch defender. But when TBC Classic came out, people were struggling with it because they still had bad players from Classic. One thing my guild learned pretty much right away, even though Gruul and Magfaradon were pretty easy in original TBC, like we got through them pretty quickly. They were just tier 4 bosses, right? That and Kara. They still let us learn that, you know, we had some bad players from vanilla. I mean, I was one of them. On my hunter. I remember the day my guild leader was like, Mate, you're really bad at playing Hunter this expansion. Like, what happened? I was saying that, well, my 400 latency and steady shot do not mix well together. And it was pretty much true.
Damn, I would be in Cloud 9 if only my dear Frankus was bald. Well, these thoughts can stay in my head, no one has no.
No one has no. You ruined it all. Hello, Jeff, mate. How you doing? Thank you for the 10 bits. What was that, like 10 cents? Huge. Nope, she already said no. It's on the internet now. You will live with your failure. Yeah, I think it's like 10 cents American bits. So probably $1 American for 100. That makes sense. So it's probably like $2 per 100 in New Zealand, because, you know, do Monopoly money or something. Anyway, before I was interrupted by the AI voice, I was having a talk about how I was really bad at Hunter when TBC first came out. And my guild leader was asking me why. And the only thing that had changed from vanilla to TBC was Steady Shot got introduced, pretty much. And Steady Shot was a cast. And I had 400 EMS still, because we still didn't have good internet back then. This was back, like, 2007-ish. I'm pretty sure New Zealand still had dial-up internet. So I just couldn't compete with my hunters brethren, even though we were pretty much the top 5 DPS on Ragnaros every week before TBC. Like, whenever we went to Molten Core and cleared it, we were always top 5 deeps. And it was like a race between us to see who was winning. So that's why I switched to Fire Mage. More casts, but you could use like a stop cast macro. There was an add-on called Quartz, I think it still exists. Had like a cast bar and like your latency bar. So you could just stop your cast when the latency bar says stop your cast now, and go into your next cast. And suddenly I was top DPS. After being like last on my hunter, which I had played all vanilla. My very first raid on Fire Mage, I was top DPS, and I'm like, I'm not that bad, guys, look. And then my raid leader was like, so you haven't gotten worse, you were telling the truth, like the class just did not work for you at that point in time. They thought I was just lying and I was bad, and funnily enough, I did replace someone. Like, we had another guy who played Fire Mage, and he was in the guild in Vanilla WoW as well, so I just took his spot when I went Fire Mage, because all he would do is immediately blow all of his cooldowns and die. Every single boss. That's the 2 years I raided with this guy. Every single boss, he blew all his cooldowns immediately, died, and was dead the whole fight. Absolute waste of a raid spot. but because it was 40-man raiding, no one really cared. So when it became like 10 and 25 man in TVC, then suddenly we had to care. Quite funny to think back to those memories of, like, you know, 2005-ish through 2007. So I remember a lot of people from my raiding in vanilla compared to what I remember of people these days. You could basically slide cast in WoW, yeah, with that. That is pretty much what that would have been. But we didn't have to move to do it, we just pressed the cast button again, but it had like stop casting in front of it. So it was like /stop casting /cast fireball, stuff like that. So you didn't want to you didn't want to be spamming your buttons like what I do now, you know, when I'm spamming the shit out of my button. You didn't want to be doing that because then you'd just be stopping your cast all day. But I mean, I have 200 latency still on US servers, so I could probably do it today. Like a stopcast and macro. But this version of Classic is very slow, so you don't really need it. Things started getting harder in TBC. Probably not in Anniversary TBC, it's probably way easier with the post-patch stuff. TBC, when it first came out, the first tier was pretty easy, like Kara, Mag, and Gruul. Pretty easy to do for a like casual dad boomer gamer guild. But Serpent Shrine and Tempest Keep, those were rough. The only reason most guilds cleared those raids is so they could get attuned to tier 6, which was way easier. Like, killing Kale and Vash allowed you to then go and get way better gear, and all you had to do was clear them one time so you could get attuned. If anyone wanted to be attuned after that and your guild didn't want to do it, they had to, like, I don't know, go buy a character. Like, if you wanted to start a new character after tier 6 was out, good luck. Like, Mount Highjow and Black Temple were so much easier than Serpent Shrine and Tempest Keep, just because of the final bosses. It's actually crazy, like, thinking about that, because there were attunements in the game back then, right? So you had to clear pretty much each raid to then be attuned for the next raid. So pretty much any guild who was in, like, Black Temple was just poaching other people from guilds that had also cleared the raids so they could get into Black Temple. Yeah, if someone say you so Karazhan was the first raid in TBC. That's a 10 man. But you had to get attuned from certain dungeons. So like Arcatraz, Mana Tombs, not Mana Tombs, I think it's Shadow Labs actually. I don't remember the rest of them, maybe Coil Fang. Been a while since I did the TBC attunement, but then you were attuned to Karazhan. Yes, attune equals unlock. Pretty much. I don't remember if there was one for Magferidin and Gruul's Lair. I don't think there was. I think it was just like open. And then I think Serpent Shrine Cavern and Tempest Keep were also open. But to get attuned to Mount Hyjal, you had to do both Serpent Shrine Cavern and Tempest Keep, final boss, to loot an item. And that's where the real difficulty happened. Because say you want to start raiding and you want to join a guild that has already cleared those bosses and they now can't be bothered. So they're doing Mount Hyjal every week rather than Serpent Shrine and Tempest Keep. So they're not going to go back and help you clear that shit for one guy because it's like really hard content. They can't be bothered. Maybe you find a guild that would be willing to do that, but it's very rare. So you can't get into the raid that people actually prog it. It's like, well, I might as well quit then. Like, the only way guilds kept people is by devouring other guilds at that point. Like, as soon as Mount Hyjal came out, you'd just have to eat other guilds to, like, stay alive if people were burning out or quitting. I can't remember if Black Temple had a attunement. But, like, Mount Hyjal was so much easier in terms of, like, boss ratio and gear reward than Serpent Shrine and Tempest Keep were. So it was kind of weird. It was a weird time in World of Warcraft. I know when like Wildstar came out, they also had attunements that you had to follow throughout the raids and stuff. Wildstar didn't last that long, obviously. I never got to play it, sadly. I would have liked to because, you know, you hear good things about it. But it had an attunement system and people liked it. But when I look back at it and have the knowledge of what happened in WoW with attunements, I'm like, it's probably some of the reason that that game might have failed is because you cannot have upkeep on raiders when half of them are locked out of the content. Like, imagine if Final Fantasy, right, made you do the previous Savage tier to unlock the new Savage tier, but obviously when the new Savage tier comes out, no one's really going to be progging the previous Savage tier, so you then can't do both sets of Savage. Basically. Because no one's raiding the previous Savage, and you can't get into the new Savage, which means you have zero content. Pretty fucked up. Like, that's pretty much how it went with some TBC raiding. I think Wildstar probably would have had that problem as well, but like I said, I never played it, so I didn't get to see the overall reason why it may have died. Harderer has reached level 60. Harderer. Pretty sure I saw Harderer. Because I made a comment about it. Like that name. But it's always fun to think back on, like, things that happened in WoW. You know, it's been a big part of my life, obviously. I've gone through a lot of growing and a lot of contents in WoW. The reason I wanted to talk about TBC today, though, is because I know that Serpent Shrine and Tempest Keep just recently came out in Anniversary TBC. So I've been seeing some people do them. They are much easier versions of the content that was available many years ago, however. They are post-patch content. Tempest Keep final boss has one of the biggest nerfs, or actually the biggest nerf in the history of World of Warcraft that has ever happened. Like, the mobs in that fight got a 60% health nerf over however many months the nerfs were going on. 60% of their health is insane. It was one of those fights that was basically unkillable until nerfs happened. Like, there was a staff that would just, like, kill your whole raid, pretty much. A fucking weapon is killing the whole raid? Like... It was a cool fight, though. Like, Kael'thas raid fight was cool because you had to kill weapons, and then you get to loot those weapons, and you get to use them during the fight, and they're all legendary weapons. So they have, like, special perks and stuff. So there was some good power fantasy in that fight. It's just that the rest of the fight was fucking rough. It was already hard enough to get the weapons in the first place because you had to kill the weapon to loot the weapon. But then there was advisors that you had to go through. And they had different abilities that you had to use the weapon abilities to get through, stuff like that. And then you actually get to fight Kael. It was pretty much an ultimate, actually. Like, there were so many different things to do in that fight. I don't think there has been a fight in World of Warcraft that I would say is as hard as that one. Like, some mythic fights these days are obviously difficult, but it's something different, you know? I think that fight, that's probably where Yoshi P and people like that got all the inspiration they needed for Ultimates. They were like, you know what, we want to make a 15-minute battle that has like 5 different phases and a bunch of different things happening that people got to learn. That's Kael'thas. I would watch someone do that fight. Maybe we could, but like, I would want to watch the 2007 version And I know when you watch videos from 2007, they look like shit. Like, everyone's got 16-inch monitors and shit like that. The videos look so bad when you watch them these days. Sad. Because we could watch someone do it, like, today. It's just not the same fight, though, is the problem. Like, post-patch TBC is so different from release TBC. And especially in one of those fights. It's always fun to think and talk about, definitely. 6-7! Gross. I didn't have to say it, I know, but hey, when I see it, I gotta say it. See it, you gotta say it. I don't even know why we started talking about TBC raids. I was talking about Destiny raiding, and then suddenly it was like TBC. I don't know how we end up there, but hey, there's stream of brain in it. Also, on Warhammer Online, I am only like 300k renown away from being able to get my best in slot. I do need to wait until they patch the ring cost, because right now it's 10,000 crests, and they're gonna patch it until 2,000, or 2,000 rather, not. Learn to talk. So I am not grinding 10,000 crests. I will wait. But I'm pretty much there. So I think a majority of my logging in these days is probably just going to be when the boys are playing. It will be my casual game. Which is good, because we've only got 2 months until school starts. The 20th of July. Actually got an email from them today. They still haven't sent me like an invoice, so I still haven't paid for it, but you know, that money's just sitting there, waiting. $4,300. That's chilling. I'm like, well, I can't use this money, so it doesn't exist. The worst thing about money sometimes, you know, like sometimes you gotta save it. And then it's like, well, it doesn't actually exist as money then, because I've already spent it in my mind. Can't spend it twice. So it just sits there and does nothing. But it's okay. I also want to go buy some new clothes at some point. And maybe a new cheer. You know, I've had this cheer for a bit since I came back to New Zealand, but I did get it for basically nothing. So it is pretty shitty. Not the best cheer ever. It was like a cheer that someone bought and then never used, and I was like, I'll give you some money for that. Like, I wouldn't buy a second-hand chair in general, right? Because someone's had farts all over it, stuff like that. Especially gamers, farting all day. But I needed a chair, so I didn't want to spend any money on one because I was already spending $4,000 on computer. But I would like to get a new one. Something a bit more comfortable, perhaps. Not the worst chair I've had in my life. In Australia, I had a chair that was like, I don't know, like 10 years old at the time, and it was like all into bits. And my sweat was all over it. Always hot as fuck in Australia, but I was poor, so it's not like I could go get a new one. I was poor and depressed. Let me add that because that's very important. As anyone who's been depressed knows, when you're depressed, you don't really want to do too much. So getting a new chair? That wasn't gonna happen. We're not seeing too many carrying grubs today, sadly. Making me depressed. No. I already dealt with that. Said no more. I will just be happy. That's how it works, right? Yeah. Sure. Any Duskwing today? He may be out here somewhere. Hopefully he doesn't sneak up on me. I should be able to put him to sleep though. He is bang. So if he does sneak up on us, we just gotta not die immediately. Put him to sleep. Sleep now. Five. Hopefully we can have 6 after we kill this guy. Need 12 more plague bats and 3 more runts. We need a lot of grubs. That's a lot of grubs. Grub, grub, grub. Every time I think of these grubs, so I'm reminded of that guy who was like doing a news interview in Australia and all he was saying was grub. Because he got called a grub one time. He was a bit of a grub. Give the reporter that, but I think he was also mentally challenged. So, you know, it didn't really go down well. Those are really good paints. Maybe an upgrade for the rogue. Send them. The rogue can get even more upgrades. I mean, we are 53, so they should be an upgrade. They're perfect. We can't make wicked leather paints. The Wanderer. I don't really like how they look. They look like plate. It's weird. They look like plate made out of leather, you know? It's a weird look, actually. I love how World of Warcraft has camel toe. like, how's that happen? I don't even think, like, WoW characters have genitals, but whenever you look at, like, pants in this video game, why is there camel toe there? It's like they added it to the gear rather than the character, you know. I mean, some male pants have fucking camel toe. Weird. Aryan grub, go to 6. Go to 7 from 6. I love how people have started avoiding saying that number by saying 76 or something like that. Doing it backwards, you know? It's still the same. Like, I saw someone reading numbers and then they were like 7 after 6 rather than 6, 7. I think that makes it more of like a meme, though, because people are actively trying to avoid saying it. Yeah, it's been an hour. I have been tired this week. Thankfully, I haven't had to stream. Man, I wouldn't have had the energy to even do it anyway. Like, I'm glad I had other stuff to do this week. Because I think the streams would have been, like, just me yawning all day. But when I'm not playing video game and I'm not streaming, it's quite easy to not yawn. I think most of it comes down to just talking shit all day, honestly. Makes me tired. Streaming is tiring, but only because you're talking shit all day. I did say we'll probably get about 120 to 130k by the time we're done with these quests. I think I might be even more, so that's good. Once we get to 58, we should be able to do pretty much all the quests outside of, you know, like level 60 stuff or elite stuff. Really? Not gonna drop me a slab? So we can go back to Winter Spring, do some stuff. We can do all the stuff here that we can do. Go up to like the Plague Wood. Like that. Those some nice crits. Got friend. Got nice crits. Especially in Moonkin. Also, I did say earlier, but you know, for people that are now listening, I finished Cyberpunk a few days ago. Good enough game. It took me a while to get through. I'm glad I didn't like lock it in on a stream game like I did with like Mass Effect, stuff like that. Because I did need to take a break from that game a few times. It was too close to reality, and I was like, I need to like not. Like, I play video game to get away from reality. Seeing the dystopian future that could happen in our reality, I didn't want. There's a good chance, especially with companies like Palantir and shit like that, making all these AI fucking bullshits all over the place, that our world could turn into exactly what Cyberpunk is. And it's like, ooh. But corpo shit. But it's one of those games that makes you like think about a lot of stuff, you know. There's like a lot of parallels to current world trends and stuff. So every now and then I need to take like a few days of break from playing the game because it's too real for me. The DLC is probably the best DLC I've ever played of any video game. Too bad there isn't going to be a second DLC because, you know, they want to make Cyberpunk 2 or whatever. Because there's so many storylines in the first game, they're like, it's not fully done yet. But it was such a good storyline. Like, there's spoilers. There's a storyline that, you know, you're basically working with the future mayor and they're being like watched by people living in the walls of their house. When I first walked into that house, I was like, man, this is giving me some Westworld vibes because the music was like the Westworld music. And then it turned out that it was just pretty much an episode of Westworld. Like, people are watching through the walls and I've been going through the endings of Cyberpunk as well. Like, I did my ending that I wanted to do. Pretty nice. Then I did the ending where I side with the corpos. And that was very Westworldy. Like, you're basically doing the same things over and over and over and over and over and over. Like, I was in there for an hour just doing the same things over and over every day. It's like, holy shit, this is driving me insane. Imagine actually being the test rat, basically. There's a few more endings that I have to go through yet, but pretty good game at making you think about things, definitely. I want to do a Punk 2077, like, where I don't use any of the cyberware, I don't use any of the, like, upgrades that you can buy for your character. I'm just a regular guy, but I think it's going to be very hard, especially because I'm going to play it on very hard. Like, I just run around with guns. get my ass shot and die like one shot. Not even because I want a challenge. It's just because I want to see if it's possible to play the game as just a regular guy. Even though the whole premise of Cyberpunk is like, you know, upgrading yourself, becoming more than human. But my thought is if cyberware and stuff like that started happening in reality, like in this world that we live, I wouldn't want it. Like, I don't care how strong it could make me or how awesome it could make me. It's things I ain't taking that shit. Like, pretty much how I played through Deus Ex as well. My Adam Jensen had 0 like biochip upgrades, and at the end of the game I was rewarded by not going absolutely insane like everyone else. When the rest of humanity was going insane and attacking each other, I was just like, hey, I didn't upgrade my chip, so I'm just a regular dude. I do like those kind of games because they're like something that could happen, right? Especially with, you know, billionaires in our current world wanting to be immortal gods. Like, there's a reason they have so much money and they don't help other people. It's because they want to keep that money. The only way you can keep that money is to not die. Like, there's no other way of seeing it. Unless Elon Musk is going to become a trillionaire and then start helping the poor, I don't see it, because then he'll want to be a 2 trillionaire. There's always a high score to go for, right? I think we'll head over to Pamela and see if there's any grubs over there, because they're pretty rare over here right now. But I do like video games like that. Deus Ex and Cyberpunk and any other video game that's kind of like that. It's interesting to think about when you're playing through those games, like, what could really happen. I think with Cyberpunk, though, it wasn't as good of a story as Deus Ex, because it seemed like everything would just lead you down to the same route anyway, and all the endings might have different routes, but they're still, you had to go through the same ways to get there. Sort of like what happened with Baldur's Gate 3, you know? Like, you could do all the content. There was no real content that you missed out on by going one way or another in Baldur's Gate 3, which is kind of what happened with Cyberpunk. I don't mind that, because I like doing all the content. I'm a completionist when it comes to video games, but I don't mind having some drawbacks. Like some content that I'm not allowed to do because I did this or whatever. Like, that's okay, I don't mind that. Because then it's like, go do a second playthrough. Bit more reason. But I think with Cyberpunk, I'm pretty happy after one playthrough. Like, I could... Alright, done it all. I will do a second one because I want to do Punk rather than Cyberpunk. There should be a like difficulty slider called Punk 2077 where you're not allowed to upgrade your character. Maybe it can change some of the values. Like in survival mode on Fallout, when you select survival, you are able to be one shot, but NPCs are also able to be one shot. So you can like, you know, a normal mode super mutant is probably much harder to take down than a survival mode super. Interested in tanking Mariful? All these people assume I'm a feral druid. They have no idea there's balanced druids in this video. But like, I think in survival and Fallout, I was killing super mutant and like 3 attacks. But then in my first playthrough of Fallout, it would, you know, I'd be fighting them for about a minute before they die because they got so much HP. Like that sort of change mechanically to the video game would make what I want to do in Punk 2077 way more fun, I think. But it's okay. We'll go through the bullet sponge. I don't plan on finishing the game anyway as Punk 2077. I just want to go through it and basically do all the content. Have to kill a bunch of people with guns rather than hacking them. I really enjoyed the gunplay in that game, to the point where I stopped using the hacks, even though I was more net runner than gun person. They call it solo or whatever. At the start of the game, I was using the hacks a lot. At the end of the game, I was just shooting. Like, it was quite fun. We are getting a lot of big Starfire crits today, which is good because this is like framed video time. Even though we haven't really been talking about World of Warcraft today. I mean, we did. We talked about old World of Warcraft. But this is what happens when you don't stream all week. Then suddenly you want to stream and you've got so much to talk about. My friend messaged me. I was just talking about Warhammer games. Because like me, there should be a good Warhammer MMO, right? Like it should happen. There is Warhammer Online, but is it like a real MMO when it's basically a finished product? Not really. Over here. Might be hard to grab. Oh, we've actually got the whole fucking doll here. That's... if we can get it all. Should be able to. We should be able to hide behind there. I don't think I've ever seen the whole doll in one house. Cool. You know, obviously we got Warhammer Online as a Warhammer MMO, but it's not a game that gets like high quality updates. So the guys that work on that game update it when they can. It's just a passion project. There's no like huge team spending lots of money and all that stuff. So as much as we appreciate it, can never really have the same quality as something like World of Warcraft updates. The graphics and just the mechanics of the game in general could definitely use some updates, but that will probably never happen. I want to kill this. I want that bat to go away. The undercrow. But there's a lot of people that would like Warhammer MMO to happen. It's just that every time one is like in production, it for some reason gets cancelled. Like, so annoying. They want it to do well though, right? Like, you don't want a Warhammer MMO to come out and it just is the worst game ever. Like, I think that's part of the reason why people are so scared to commit to finalizing a product. If you release a Warhammer MMO and it's dog shit, you're gonna get run through. Like, people aren't gonna be happy. I mean, Warhammer Online was already released in a pretty bad state when it first came out. I wouldn't say it was dog shit because I wasn't there. I only played it for like a month when live was a thing, but like, I had fun. I had fun for a month, but I didn't play it at the very beginning. There were probably much bigger problems when the game first came out from what I heard. But doing PvP and public quests back on live was sick. We're running low on water, but we're almost done with the quest. Do need 6 carrion meat though, and that's, I don't know if that's going to be happening. Before I run out of water. Just say because there are no carrion grubs. Mind, there is one carrion grub. Grub. Grub, grub, grub. Next time Chris is in this channel, I'm gonna ask him if he remembers the grub guy. Any Australian really, but he's the one who pops in the most. Anyone who lived in Australia during that time period should remember. bro. That dog was a gargoyle for a moment. That would have been. But I had to watch him. One more bet. And then at least 6 grubs. Possibly more with the drop rate so far. Can do 80%. Doesn't feel like it today. It feels more like 50. But it's okay. It's all experience, isn't it? It's all experience and possible epic items. Possibly. ST question mark? Oh. Probably want me to tank, don't you? See, at least the guys that ask me if I want to tank or heal or DPS, they at least... There's a little bit of assumptions, but they at least let me know what they want. When people just ask ST, like, what do you need for ST? Like, what are you looking for? That's the worst ones, I think. Ones that are just like dungeon name. I need this root to break because it is on a cliff slightly and I don't really want to loot him when he's there because I'll probably slip off and not be able to loot. Drop anything anyway, so it would have been the same. Loot or no loot. But still, at least I had a chance. There's not really much point in going and handing this in. So we get all of it done. But I do want to check up here again, just see if there's any grubs. Generally on the way to Light's Hope Chapel, I'll do the next Demon Dogs, but we don't have much water. Yeah, our experience is definitely above what I estimate, so that's good actually. More experience we get, the better. And 58 today is definitely the goal. Obviously, this is the only stream this week, so... We're gonna be like a week behind where I thought we would be. But once we get onto the rogue and we actually start leveling, I think it will go quite quickly. The rogue should not take too long at all. Like we should be able to get a level a day on that. Level a day we are playing at least. Not a level of day, because that means I would have to be on when I'm not. Maybe even a level and a half a day. Like, that character might actually run out of rested experience. We want to level it. These last few characters have been fully rested because I'm just like, Eh. There are some days I just don't. I mean, this whole week, obviously, I didn't play, but that was because of other activities that needed to be taken care of, like work. Some meetings along the way there. Stuff like that. Shouldn't have anything next week, but I'm not sure yet. Because one of my meetings from this week has to be rescheduled, and I'm not sure when that's going to happen. That's why I got off work early yesterday. Meant to have a meeting at 2 PM. Didn't happen. So I'm like, well, nothing to do for the rest of the week now. Done. That's why I got to play some Warhammer in the afternoon. It worked out in the end. Go over there. So that might happen next week. Depends when the person is available. There's another carrying grub up there I saw. But I'm kind of wondering if I just start heading to Light's Hope Chapel now. Like, we can get more carrying grubs on the way. 2 to 5 plague hounds on the way as well. Scared me a little bit, Reptar man. Like, what the hell is a Reptar doing in the Eastern Plague Lanes? Every now and then you just see someone just come up behind you. Give you a little jump scare. Why you gotta do that? Not very nice. Grubs. Know how to walk away from me. Pretty much all they know how to do. Resist. Not good. It's never fun when you get a 250 mana resist on a boomkin. It's fun when you crit though. Does 100% extra damage. This is still probably my favorite talent in the game. 100% extra crit damage. Like, it's so boring, but it just brings so much joy to see the numbers be so high, you know? Like, if every talent was do 100% extra damage, damn, that'd be fun. There's nothing better than seeing bigger numbers. And if you do bigger numbers, you're a better person. That's how it goes. I live in water. We should be able to get the dogs done. And we should be able to maybe get the rest of the carrying grubs before we get to Light's Hope Chapel and run out of water. But it really depends. Like, we have to be in dangerous territory over there as well. Pretty much everything past this point is dangerous territory. For one reason or another. Damn, we're getting so unlucky with these drops. So 80% is just not right today. And sit on this road. we were drinking in the middle of the road pass here, though, we would be at the Mercy, Scarlet Courier. I always enjoy how when I start casting, if I'm sitting down, I don't know if it will do it now, but Boomkin just like sits back down. Usually when you come up from a drink. Like it will stand up, do a little bit of its cast, have a little sit for a millisecond, and then stand back up. It's funny to watch. Carrying grubs over here. Rude. Always fun when entangling roots only last a millisecond. Nice. We're now 15. We are getting there. We'll mark it a wild and mount. And then we'll start heading into the more dangerous places. Might be a few more carrion grubs on the way that we can kill. But once we get to Corrin's Crossing, we're not gonna be killing them anymore. We're gonna be getting safe and then killing them. I still need to find a good axe for my warrior as well. It would be very helpful. Larval, not exactly what we need, but it is worth some money. Any more carrion grubs down here before I mount? Doesn't look like it. Right. Well, let's head over to this part. We've got 9 water. See if it's enough to get the dogs on the way, the plague hounds. Frenzied plague hounds are probably going to be pretty scary, but we'll probably do them while we go up here to Hanedin. Aaron's Crossing. Corrin's. Not Karen's Crossing, is it? Karen just runs outside and beats your ass. I mean, it basically happens. These ghost ladies. They could be Karens. No Scarlet Courier. This place is a little bit scarier. Mobs are stronger. We need these plague hounds. These ones in rage? I don't think so. He's like the loudest motorcycle just went past. Sounded broken. We have a plague bloom. Where is it? Behind me. Somewhere. Dude, like right here. It blends in with the environment very well in the Eastern Plague Lands. Don't remember if the Plague Bats share a spawn with the Plague Hounds, but they probably do. Many there are, and no hounds. Kleine Hunden. She knows. Well, because it's all bats, I guess we'll just head over to Light's Hope. Is this grub safe to do? It seems like it might be. It's a good clearing. Nice. That's what I mean though, we don't even need to go Moonkin form because 3% crit is... It's something, but it's not like... crazy amounts. Like, we can still crit for over 1000 damage without Boomkin. If Boomkin form made your crits do more damage, then it would be ridiculous, but a bit more worth. A lot of bats. A lot of plague blue. Great, because these are mongoose elixirs. Funny, my last stream was last Friday, obviously, and now it's Friday again, so we're gonna be like checking the mail 2 streams in a row. There's not gonna be that much mail, I don't think, but we will have some herbs on Lena, I guess. We had to go and equip gear on Lena last time because we pretty much out of bag space. Up here we've got the Scarlets, our elites, and they don't want to aggro. Pretty much where they stuck the Scarlet Enclave in Season of Discovery, which makes sense. I am diseased. No plague hounds and carrions around. Good. Sometimes you need a stretch. Yeah, I think we level for like the next hour, depending on what we're doing. Then we go check the mail on the other characters. Even though it is the only stream of the week, it's not going to be any longer than a regular stream. But hopefully next week I have a bit more time. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure how the schedule will be looking just yet, but I don't have a lot to do right now. So, it's not like going into this week where I knew it would be busy. Like I basically said last time I streamed that I probably wasn't going to be around this week. And that was pretty factual. I would like to be able to go up to the Plague Wood and grab termites. But we will see. Probably do that when we hand in the quest from Winter Spring. Hey, we're almost 58, which means we're going to get some damage upgrades. Starfire's going to be doing like an extra 200 damage crit. That's going to be awesome. If we can get to 1337, that'd be great. I don't know if we will be able to without the arcane elixir, but we do have one. I think 58 to 59, we just throw absolutely everything. You know, we use our few potions that we have. Got 75 intellect worth of potion. And we can use this one and this one at the same time. 50 in for like an hour. I love how this says 1 hour and this says 60 minutes. Like they're both an hour, but they're different. To throw the people off that can't do math. Like a Gen Zer playing World of Warcraft would be like, what, 60 minutes compared to an hour? We've also got this to hand in. Few quests here to hand in. So we should be looking pretty good on experience. Say we're pretty close to 58 already. Be good. I need one more carrying grub. Can I get one over here? Maybe a demon dog as well, because I need one more demon. No, just bats. Oops, all bats. Lights, Hope, Chapel.
How are you? Safe travels. See you later.
I
See
will
you around.
take this
Have a
quest.
good one.
I don't know if I will do it. Ever. Because it is in basically a cave, but take the quest. Order lots. How much water do we
See you
need?
around.
Lot. Our first character of the Medley has made it to Light's Hope
Greetings.
Chapel.
Go with honor, friend.
Very good.
Light bless you. Go with
Greetings.
honor, friend. Be careful. For the Alliance. You need something? See you later. Be careful.
That quest is okay. Can't do any of those.
You got my
This I think is
attention.
PvP,
Off with
so
you.
I don't know if we can
Welcome.
actually do it because you might need to be PvP flagged for it.
Here there.
I don't think this is going to be doable. Because, one, we can't get high explosive bombs and unstable triggers. We can get the thorium and the golden
Watch your
bar,
back.
but
Off with you.
not exactly a duel. Off to Lena. Guess I'll send this to Grocket. Know if I need it for anything. Just in case. Okay. Interesting, it shows up like that. So we could go up here and this quest in. I would like to get the Frenzied Plague Hounds done. They're going to be pretty scary though. But welcome to the high end of leveling in classic World of Warcraft. Everything's fun. Like, the only thing that's not scary is going to Winter Spring and grinding furbolgs. But it is boring. There's a plague hound. We're getting so unlucky with these. The 80% drop rate should be changed to 30% drop rate. That just ain't happening for me today. Could get the Frenzied Plague Hound. Yeah, that'd be pretty safe. And problem is, I may have to kill some while I go hand this quest in. Handing that quest in is scary, but it does free up 5 inventories. So it is something I would like to do very, very much. Get some free dogs over here. Never gonna be free because they are level 50. But we should be able to take them. Rich thorium and not mine it. We should be able to take them, and it would be easier if Starfire didn't resist. If the roots didn't break into Ian. When did they angry? Oops, that's not too. That's a good frenzy. I don't mind when mobs enrage at 20%, that's fine. It's when they enrage at 50% where it starts to get a bit crazy. Like the... What are the Stompers, I think, in Unguro? Stomper? Those motherfuckers think it's a good idea to enrage at 50%. Like, that's crazy. Any more frenzied boys over here? We have 4 bars from leveling, which is okay. We have a little bit of that already gained. If I go past that plague bat, I'm gonna kill it. I like how that one guy was like, I need this. I wasn't even looking at the mine. Some guy rocked up and started mining it in my face. Carrion Devourer. I wasn't there to mine it anyway, but it was pretty funny. While on this road, we have to be careful to make sure we don't come across the Scarlets. Like, if we don't pay attention and they just appear, we die. There is no way to avoid dying. If we aggro them because they have a stun. So this is probably one of the most dangerous corridors in World of Warcraft. Not to mention you've got a giant fucking grub that goes through here as well. That we also need to be careful of. Do not see Barrel Gordo. It's a pretty dangerous place, and we're gonna go back. Handing in this quest will be very worth. Weird that there's so much sungrass. Definitely don't want to be tanking those while they hit for that much. You don't really expect sungrass to be hanging out in the Eastern Plaguelands. Like Plague Bloom, Mountain Silver Sage, Arthur's Tear, yeah, but sungrass? Like, it just doesn't. I guess because we're so close to the Blood Elf area. Thanks, Ramus. Yo, I need that demon dog. Keep moving. DFHC. Want that dog. I bet that dog. I think that was the guy that was mining the rich thorium in my face. That resist? Oh, it must have resisted the stun. Interesting. I didn't know that could happen. Like, the damage went off, but the stun resisted? That's very interesting. I thought, like, the damage and stun were tied together. Oh, I guess not. Cool. The trolls over here have caused many a death. In hardcore. There are trolls that run for help of their, like, nearest ally, stuff like that. Wanderer's Hat of the Whale. Not exactly great. If it was like a Wanderer's Hat of the Eagle, I would consider wearing it because it would have pretty good stam and int. Losing damage, sure. But I think it would be a good trade. I feel like I should just kill these bats on the way in here just to make it more safe. Plus it's all experience anyway. Nice. Yeah, getting some good damage out today. I'm very happy about it. Like I said, whenever it's like video time, basically, I want my character to put their best foot forward, do the most damage they can. And it does seem to be happening today. Like that Wrath was gonna miss. Cast it at its wing. Like, the damage is pretty good so far. Question now is, am I gonna go all the way to the Plague Wood to grab the termite? It would be a good thing to do. No, there was a dog back there. If we don't get one on the way to this quest, I can go back and kill him. Damn. We got 4 out of 5 crits on that mob. One of them was for 999. Bro, need some water.
I am listening. What brings you here? Hello.
We will take that quest. I don't know if I will do it. Because it is in the far reaches of, like, Ashara, where we're gonna go. I guess not the far reaches, but we're gonna come back here to hand it in, so. Just one of those quests that's like kind of awkward. You know, you come all the way out here, you get the quest, you go all the way over there, and you gotta come back. It's like Uchar. Like 5 different trips. Must be 25% rage. Bit scary. The dogs are done. Did I get the flight path? I don't know. Doesn't really tell you when you discover a new flight path in chat. I hope so. Because I am thinking if I go and grab these termites, I might just teleport Moonglade out of here. And then come in from Western Plague Lands. And in all the quests. like that. No termite. It's just like, oh, there are termites here on the map. I've never seen termite there in my life. This area isn't too bad generally, like, you would think it would be a scary-ish area, but in general it's probably one of the best areas in Eastern Plaguelands. In terms of like, you're gonna die. These guys are pretty weak, so I should be able to kill them before I run out of mana. Like they do a lot of damage, but quite a lot of damage. They cast so fast. Did run out of mana, but cursed mage and they're like 1 second cast on. Definitely interesting seeing next Ramus over there. Need to remember not to go in those cigarettes. They're dangerous fellas in there. I'm not really gonna care about the ghoul quest right now, I just want the termites. But if we do kill some ghouls while doing the termites... We're gonna have quite a lot of traveling around to do, I think. After this. The soldier. Still need 1 carrion meat, hopefully. I'm hoping that I can get that on the way back to Tyrion. And that's why I haven't really bothered with it. At least that guy wasn't going as crazy as his friend. The other one was just blasting. He was like, fuck you. I'm gonna cast every second. Hopefully we can get 50 more next to. Like, that's pretty good. Get already 50. Good chance we'll end up with like 99. Need just 1 more, but it usually happens, so I'm not that surprised by it if it. Thank you for the water. I appreciate it. Any more over here? There's a ghoul. See if we kill any ghouls, we can talk to them. Some of that quest checked off, but it's not like the priority. When we're done with the termites here, we should be about done with the level. Go hand in and stuff. And that will get us to 58, which is very good. Because we get a new Starfire, we get a new Moonfire. That's 2 increases to our damage. Awesome. There might be. Cannibal Ghoul. Guys healing? I mean, they're called Cannibal Ghoul, but they seem to just heal without doing damage to. Like maybe they heal from taking damage, I don't know. Generally don't really notice it. It's probably one thing that I have noticed on the Boomkin a lot more than other characters. Whenever you're like fighting something that has a heal, does these little things that gives it extra life, stuff like that. Because you're sometimes blasting the shit out of a mob. Like sometimes you'll do, 300 DPS. But other times you're kinda just slowly whittling it down, and when it's got a hot, I've noticed so much more on the Boomkin when mobs heal themselves. Just because we're not always absolutely destroying mob's life bar. 89. It wasn't 99 like I expected it to be, but close enough. But I'm definitely looking forward to 58 to get that extra damage. Our arcane abilities. Any more termites? Without having to fight anyone. Very pretty cool. Bit dangerous. Wandering past all the mobs. But I don't need to fight anyone for the last termites. Like I said, we are just gonna Moonglade port out of here. So I don't need to do that whole run. I hope that I click the flight path in Light's Hope Chapel. That's the only thing. Because I'm not sure if I did. But, hey. Right. One more than we need. Go Moonglade, then fly back over. I was thinking about her thing because it's in Stormwind, but I might need it. Emergency Light of a Loon Hoof, you never know. Either just do this. Take like 5 minutes extra out of our life, but I think the flight from Stormwind would probably equalize the flight from Meaningful anyway. So it should be okay. We don't die. Be awkward. Dying in Moonglade would be very special. It's doable, but it would be very special. Print over. Print over da.
How may I help?
The Albadine. I don't think there's any other quests that I got to hand in on this place. We do have that, but that's still like go and kill mobs because we were up to that part. Go kill mobs. I think at 58 we'll come back and do Enraged Wildkin, Awididi, and Wonderful Activity. Perhaps also the Escort if we can pull it off. Yeah, we should have enough experience from here once we hand in 24k. We should definitely. Got to kill a few more grubs, most likely, but other than that, we're looking good. One of the guys that I've been playing Warhammer with, he streams. He's been playing some Guild Wars 2 today. I saw it and I'm like, man. I do sometimes get an urge to play Guild Wars 2. I always found it to be one of those games that you can just log into and do whatever you want. You know, you want to go explore a zone, you want to go do some quests, you want to go story, some events, whatever. You can just do whatever you like. I never raided, and I never really did the dungeons. Back in 2012, when the game first came out, I did want to do the dungeons, and I did probably the first 2 of them, maybe first 3 of them with friends, but after that I was kind of ahead of where they were and they kind of stopped playing at some point. But I remember my other friend and I, we decided to go through one of the dungeons just doing it 2 tanks. I was playing Guardian, he was playing Warrior, we were both tanks. Just tank speak. And we 2-manned that dungeon. Pretty fun. But I kind of wish Guild Wars 2 had bots like they had in Guild Wars 1 to do dungeons with. Like that would be kind of cool. What? Maybe they do now. No, they don't. I looked up Guild Wars 2 dungeon bots and it says Guild Wars 2 does not have native follower or AI bots for dungeons. However, players have historically encountered third-party automated programs that exploit the game to farm or sell dungeon runs. That's pretty fucked. But there were a lot of issues with Guild Wars 2 when it first came out. like one of my friends got banned for making too much money on the auction house when the game first came out. The auction house was pretty much broken for like the first 3 days of the game being out, but then one of my friends, all he didn't level, he was like level 30. I think he made it to Lion's Arch and then he just started crafting. And he made so much gold that ArenaNet 40 was like botting and farming gold or something. They just banned him. It took him like a month to get his account back. Because gold was quite hard to make when the game first came out. I don't think I ever had like 100 gold until like Path of Fire. My friend had like 500 gold at level 30. Because all he wanted to do was craft. He was buying like materials and then crafting a bunch of gear, and people were just buying it because like it was the best gear they could get at that time. It was crazy. But I did enjoy that game. I think it would be a interesting game to play with a group of friends. Just do like all the dungeons, do the raids, because I think there are only like 8 men, right? Remember. Man. That's not too bad though. But it's definitely one of those games that you could probably blind raid, like Final Fantasy. But the Trinity doesn't work the same as other video games. But at some point, I think when I went back to play Path of Fire, I did manage to convince a few friends to actually play Guild Wars. One thing that I did like about that game was when you're in a guild with someone, you can see them on the world map. Like, maybe it's a bit stalkerish for some people, but you can actually see like your guild mates on the world map. So if there's like 3 of them in the same place, it's like, what's going on over here? Maybe it will lead you to like an event or something, you know? I think it's a good social thing. Plus it's like free to play. I wonder if my friends would like to do something.
Need help?
Obviously a few of us has played, but like it would be cool to just go through and do dungeons and stuff. If I could ever convince some of them. You know, rather than just Mythic Plus and World of Warcraft constantly, go try different things. It doesn't even take that long to level in Guild Wars 2. Like, hit level 80 pretty quick. And then the progression is not gear based, it's like ascension based, mastery based, that's the thing. I've never done fractals, never done raiding. That would be something interesting to see. But it is quite hard to convince my friends to play different video games because they're WoW players, and you know, that is like the video game that takes up all of their time already. They don't have any other time. Like, some of them are gamers. They want to play video games, but they got too much going on in real life. So it's like, we play WoW because there's no other time to play anything else. Sad. So I like playing many different games. Obviously, I'm getting pretty close to like Best in Slot and Warhammer. Play a fuck ton of this for now. Probably not so much in the future. I am going to be a casual gamer once school starts because I'll just have too much going on, you know. My schedule will turn into having to go to school in the middle of the day rather than stream. My evenings will be then like homework or just catching up on things that I missed throughout the day. Social stuff. I won't really be working while I'm at school though, so that might free up a few hours here. We will see. I think this first like 6 months will be fine. It's not going to be too much, but when I start like the bachelors, stuff like that, it's going to be
For the Alliance. Be careful. For the Alliance.
by time.
Careful.
Okay. Let's go see about releasing these termites. Go talk to Marlene first though. That'd be a good amount of experience. Sorry, my throat has just got gunk in it or something. I woke up this morning and had to clear my throat. There was like green in it. Like, why is there green in it? Like, am I sick? Generally, that's like reserved for sickness, no? Bring the wedding ring to Chromie. What they said? I have to get the wedding ring. We might do that at some point. We will see. Sure, at some point there'll be a AoE farming mage going through there and they'll clear it all for me and I won't have to. But I don't know if we'll go see Chromie on this character. At least before we play Lena. Like I said, I want Fran to actually get to 59 so I have my rogue to go to 60. Because that will make for a better end to the leveling chapter. Especially because it's the character I want to buy the epic mount on. If I can just buy the epic mount as soon as I hit level 60, that's going to be incredible. I think we'll be pretty close gold-wise. We haven't really made any gold today, but we're definitely, I think we're like 600 plus gold. Like how that guy just stopped in the middle of tracks, just wait for me. He's like what Grim does sometimes, stands over the body, make sure it doesn't get up. Yeah, we'll go see about handing in this quest. Then walk on into the Eastern Plaguelands. Get Tyrion's quest done. Do have to come back here after this quest to hand in, but that'll be okay. Hopefully. I think next leveling we will probably head back to Winter Spring. I think that stuff in Winter Spring should be easier than... Like this quest especially, not that hard, but just annoying sometimes when there's no ghouls. Maybe the rear will be up in here. Like someone's up in here. Arson. Let's unleash the fellas. Termites are out. They're gonna eat all the wood. Termites are very interesting. I like ants a lot, right? But termites are pretty close to ants. So I also like termites a lot. But they're very interesting because, like, the termite queen looks like a fucking eldritch horror. Whereas ant queens are just like a bigger ant. The termite queen is an absolute tank. If people ate termites, termite queens would be like thousands of dollars just to eat one. It'd be like a great source of protein, you know, you bite into that, you just get the creamy liquid. Makes me a bit sick thinking about it, honestly. Be like biting into a chocolate eclair. Alright, we'll go over here, hand in demon dogs, hopefully get a worm meat along the way. Now I think the quest after these is to listen to his story. And then of Forgotten Memories is where we will have to stop on this character because I don't think it's going to be possible. On friend. Like, we can do the fence kite, but it is 4 or so mobs. So I'm not sure. Sure we want to do that one on this character. We'll do it on the rogue once again. Everything's going to be happening on the rogue. I think we get to level 58 on the rogue and then we do all the like very hard quests and we just do that for 2 levels. And we finish with Death Clasp. I think that'd be a good way to finish. Assuming we can kill Death Clasp. Which we should be able to. Like, I'm not saying I'm as good as Guzu, and I'm not saying I have as much gear as what Guzu's rogue did have, but he killed it at level 59. So if we just copy what he did, we should be good. I think Guzu's Hardcore Rogue series is what gave me the confidence to play Rogue in Hardcore. Because obviously I had never really done Rogue in Classic. I did level a rogue to 60 in vanilla, but I didn't really like it back then, so I didn't play it too much. I did Molten Core like twice, and that's about it. I don't know why I didn't like it, because I was playing Hunter. My brain just didn't work as well back then, I guess. Nice. Job done. Go handed. I don't think we quite level from the handing, but we should level from the talking. So that's good. Good way to hit 58. Tyrion talking shit about his family or whatever. Be cheated. Not talking constantly all week has made it infuriating to stream, because now my nose hairs be like blowing around and my wind. But yeah, 58 today, and then hopefully, I don't think we'll hit 59 on our first stream next week. I'm not sure we have that kind of level of ability. But we should be at least close. And then we'll be on the rogue. We did level. We leveled by 248 experience. Pretty good. Alright, Tyrion, what have you got to say? Skip, 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 skip. I will. He didn't have much to say, to be fair. Yeah, this. I don't think we're going to bother with it. Now, what do we want? We could get 100% chance to avoid interruption on our entangle. We could get Fawns for an extra like 1 damage. Or we could go Insect Swarm, which is probably something I'm not going to use that much, but maybe it would be useful against like big scary mobs. Go Swarm. Pretty much the only option, isn't it? Assuming I can use it in... Where do we want to put it? Maybe on Fairy Fire? We don't really use Fairy Fire. That great. Have a look. Shorter range, but we can use it. Okay, it does bring us out of Moonkin. So it would have to be only against mobs that we really want to use it again. Like, it's pretty good because it reduces the chance to hit, but yeah, bringing us out of Moonkin, not it. But like I said, the other options are literally entangling roots or fawns. That's it. Like, we could get Shapeshifter, I guess. Would actually be helpful for form, but eh. Alright, I'm gonna Herf. I believe we're done here. No, not actually. We're gonna go back to this. I'm not gonna Herf. I'm gonna go hand squeezing. Then we can Herf. Then we can go train. The last of our abilities that really matter on the character. I was level 60. Whatever. I mean, we can get a bigger insect swarm though. About as much as him. I mean, there will be some fights, I guess, that we want the reduced chance to hit more than Moon can form. Like, if we're fighting, say, a level 60 elite that we think we can take. If we're tanking Sunken Temple on our Boomkin. People keep asking for a tank. You never know. I saw that people are doing like competitive looks mix, and like they go, there's a website that you look at your camera and just, you know, put on your face. Some people, stuff like that. Like, man, that's so stupid. Looks maxing and stuff like that is probably the most stupid thing I've ever heard of. But it follows the incel behavior that's been happening greater and greater as the sexes decide to have a war between each other. Men hate women and women hate men, and for some reason that's how society is these days. I mean, men also hate men, but I don't think that's a change from what has been. We will be the reason. Like, humans in general will be the reason humans stop existing in the future. If that ever happens, it will be because of us. But I'm not going to be here unless it happens like within my lifetime. That'd be quite disappointing. But I wouldn't be that surprised with all that's going on. But looks mixing? Like, I'm quite happy with the way I look. On my best days, when I look in the mirror, I'm like, you're a 10. Sometimes I'll wake up and I'll be like wrinkly and stuff, and I'm like, ugh, didn't get enough sleep last night. You know, like the wrinkles up here generally show up more the least sleep you have, more stress you have in life. But I would rather have them than look plastic, so.
King's honor, friend. Go with honor, friend. Light bless you.
Nice. Another quest chain done.
Well met.
We do also have this quest here, and a whole quest to fall back on if we need to. We do have some good options on Fran to do this final level. 200,000 experience. But I'm thinking we probably get to about, you know, halfway with quests, and then we probably just grind the rest. I wouldn't be all that surprised if that is what happened. go to the park and train, and then we will jump on the other characters and check the mail. It's not going to be like a huge mail check because I haven't really sent anything to anyone other than Lena and Grocket. I am pretty sure. But we will make sure. So the weekly mail check's probably only going to take a few minutes. But after that, we will be done. Just a regular 3-hour stream.
Greetings.
Hopefully next week, stream a bit more. Hibernate. Moonfire. Can do an extra 100-ish damage. Starfire. Can do an extra 100-ish damage. Rejuve. We need healing touch? Not really. I think there's only a few times I've actually pressed healing touch. I still have rank 3 healing touch down. Hibernate. Fire. Starfire. It's the big one. I'm looking forward to seeing how much damage it does. Rejuve. I guess we can also go and upgrade our insect swarm. Even though it's probably not going to be something we use a lot. Like on occasion we might pull it out.
How may I help?
So we might as well have it upgraded. Got entangling roots? Get that. Yeah.
Be careful.
Right. Nice. Nature's Grasp. You know, Nature's Grasp hasn't been as useful as I thought it would have been. It was quite useful in the early levels. But it's definitely not been as useful as I was thinking it's going to be at the start. I think I've only used it like 1 or 2 times post 40. We could probably just start using it as like a free route when the mob is coming over to us, like that, but then we wouldn't have it in an emergency situation. That's the problem. Deep lace. Alright. Let's friend for today. We are probably going to end up in winter spring next time, but we can deal with that next time. Go check the mail before we log out for the day. A good leveling session though. One more level on the friend. Ruben has nothing. Lena will have herbs and those pants that look way better than the pants she's wearing, so I'm kinda happy. Stat wise, they give 3 extra agility, 3 extra stand. Good. Do I have any armor kits on? Yes. Seen some. One of those on as well. Big upgrade. They actually don't change how our paints look, because that's the belt. I hate the belt because it's like green on the sides. It's weird.
How are you? See you
Those are pretty good. Because they're level 53. Our gear on the rogue is going to be crazy. Like, this is our weakest piece. Be nice. Can be nice to play, don't you? Nothing on it. Nothing on Bama and France either, because I haven't seen them yet. But you gotta make sure. Don't want any items being lost. Alright. Well, that's gonna be it. If we could get rid of the spout when we're playing Lena, I think she'd look amazing. Thank you for joining me today. I will attempt to be around a little bit more next week. Currently just depends on, like, you know, what's happening. But I doubt there's going to be too much going on next week. So, hopefully we're here enough to get to 59 on Friend and... who knows, 55 on Lena? That'd be a good little start. We're probably 2 or 3 more weeks away from being 60. Depending on how much we play. So, we'll do our best to go as fast as we can. But the problem is, after hitting 60, streaming probably won't be happening too much. I might try to fit in another game series or some random streams here and there after 60, but yeah, it's gonna be full focus on life stuff after that. But we'll worry about that when we get to it. Thank you for joining me. Have a good night or day, depending on where you are in the world. Have a good weekend and a good Friday if you're, you know, so inclined that it's not Friday yet. I'll see you guys when I see you next. Bye.